In preparation for the upcoming season, I identified 6 key storylines that are going to run through it and go a long way in determining whether it's a successful season for the Magic or not. We'll go over those in just a second. This is the Orlando Magic Nation, your source for all things Orlando Magic on YouTube. For Magic fans, by a Magic fan. I'm Edwin Valentine, and I want to thank you very much for clicking on this video and spending a little bit of time talking Magic with me. You got to do the normal YouTube things, so like, share, drop a comment below, and if you want to do so, hit that subscribe so you don't miss out on any content that I produce. So let's start off with the first key storyline, health. As we saw last year, health can do a lot to derail a promising season. After only 5 games last year, Paolo went down with that oblique strain, and then about a month later, Franz went down with it as well. We weren't very lucky last year when it came to health, so now we're hoping that our luck turns. But that also hasn't started off on the right track for us so far, with Jalen talking in an interview recently that he's still doing some rehab on his knee. So he may not be ready for training camp and or the start of the season. So we shall see. And also we know that Mo still won't be returning until a little bit later on into the season, likely in December or in January. But hopefully those are the only 2 instances in which we have to really be concerned with season-long injuries. Of course, it's the NBA, so you're going to have some bumps and bruises and some tweaks. You're going to tweak an ankle here and there and miss about a week or two. So that's something that we really worked on in the offseason by adding depth. Now we're covered in multiple positions with versatile players that are able to play multiple positions. We're in a good place right now when it comes to our depth. Obviously, some of them are unproven or need to make a significant jump to a team that has aspirations of winning the Eastern Conference. But I still think that we are pretty good when it comes to our depth, and we'll be able to sustain an injury or two. Now, if it starts to be like we had last year, where our top 3 guys are out or our top 4 scorers are out at one point, that's when we are definitely going to be running thin with options that are proven. But we still hope that we're able to see that development from those players that we will talk about in just a second. Now, not only with the depth is it something that's important when it comes to the health, but also our two-way guys. Since we're going into the season with only 14 players, we are limited to the amount that our two-way guys are able to be active throughout a season. We have a center that is a two-way guy in Orlando Robinson. Orlando Robinson adds a 4th center, so he gives us that depth since Mo's coming back from injury, and we don't know how healthy Wendell will be this season. He was pretty healthy last year, so hopefully he continues to have that upward trajectory and he's able to play 75 games this year. We also have a forward in Jamal Kane. So that's what Jamal is as well when it comes to our wings that will be able to spell if Franz were to be out for a significant amount of time, then we have Tristan moving up to the starting lineup and then Jamal would replace him there. Again, we are not able to just use all 3 of the spots for 50 games each, which is normally the limit. Combined, all 3 of them are only going to be able to have 90 appearances total. So that's really going to be a big deal. If we have a lot of injuries and they have to be active, then really by the end of the year, we might be in a situation like Dallas was last year, where they were really close to having to maybe forfeit games because they didn't have enough guys on their roster. So once we have clarity on Jalen and once Mo is back, hopefully that really is going to kind of keep us rolling and we're able to have a healthy season overall, of course, other than a few bumps and bruises. The second key storyline for me is how the offense is going to look this season. Obviously, we are a defensive minded team. I don't think that's going to change this upcoming season, but we really should be trying to get better on offense. And we did so with bringing in Tyus, and we did so by bringing in Desmond. Now we have to scheme around it to make sure that they continue to succeed offensively, because they might be talented players, but if we don't put them in positions to succeed, then their numbers are going to go down and there's going to be growing frustration with the coaching staff, because we have the talent now that we should be successful on offense, and we shouldn't be a bottom 10 offense for the first time since 2012. Maybe bringing in Joe Prunty is going to be the catalyst that's going to change things because we need to shoot more corner threes. Now, we did have plenty of corner threes available to the guys last year. They just missed them. It's odd because when I look through all their stats, a lot of them were in the 37, 34, 35, 40% range in corner threes. So that just shows that there was success. There was corner threes available. There just wasn't nearly as many as there should be. So now, if that's something that teams are going to allow us to have, maybe at the beginning of the season, they're testing out how well the Magic are going to shoot this year. So we might get some extra ones early in the season, but we hopefully are going to be able to scheme to ensure that we get our guys in the corners. Now, if you watch the games, you see that there are guys there in the corner, but it just isn't, there isn't enough movement or there isn't enough of an attack to ensure that the guy guarding the guy in the corner is digging down or his attention is drawn to the driver and then the three-pointer is more open. Because we shot so poorly last year, they kind of left the guys open at times, even from the corner. But as we've seen, there's been some development with Tristan with his shooting in Eurobasket. So hopefully that's going to be something that we have some of our guys coming back and having bounce back seasons because we really can't shoot as poorly as we did last year. Just statistically speaking, math wise, we're likely going to have a statistical regression and be able to get back into center and at least not be historically bad in shooting as we were last year. So hopefully we are able to configure the offense to ensure that everyone is able to succeed instead of just throwing the ball to Paolo and Franz and being like, all right, guys, make something happen. The third key storyline is what we're going to get from the bench. Right now, if you read most of the articles this offseason, it's like, oh, we definitely have a big four when it comes to our starting lineup. Now, we'll talk about the fifth spot in just a moment, but also what's happening off the bench. Now, by adding Tyus, that's going to bring a floor general to our bench unit, which is great. So now AB doesn't have to be the primary ball handler anymore. Now he can continue to do so and just have Tyus in the corner where he shoots a high percentage from three. But I think now we're going to hopefully see the maturation of AB, and we'll see some steps in maturation for Tristan as well, because we saw in Tristan, as I mentioned, in Eurobasket, and he hit very, very big shots against Turkey. So it's good to see that in pressure pack situations, A, he's not afraid to shoot, and B, he actually was accurate with those threes and he made them and was able to keep Germany close to Turkey until the rest of the guys were able to bring them over the top. So in that respect, it was very, very good to see already just in year two for Tristan. He's a little bit older of a rookie anyway, so he's more, he's already in his mid-20s. So it's good that to see him start to elevate his game because he's already maturing physically, so he needs to have his basketball game fit as well. Now with AB, we haven't seen it just yet, but if you've been watching his social media, if you've been watching all of the videos that he's been posting, he's been very diligent in trying to get his shot to be more fluid. So by the end of the season, he was shooting much better from three, and he was someone that was definitely taking the ball to the basket more. And really for us, it's when it comes to AB, it's more about his aggression, him being more aggressive when it comes to driving the lane, to attacking the paint so that either he can pass or he can lay the ball up or he can score with his length. That's going to be the big thing for me when it comes to AB this year. Not just those two guys, we also have JI. We're going to see what we get out of JI when we start the season. Is he going to have a bounce back year from three and also start to hit more from the corners again and add that offense to his defense? He's a bit slimmer as well, so hopefully his speed and his endurance is going to be able to be back to where it was 2 seasons ago instead of what it was last season. And then what are we going to get out of Jet? Are we going to get the same shooting we did last year, or has he been able to develop his shooting because his main role is shooting? So if he's not shooting well, then he's definitely going to get passed over by someone who is going to shoot better. And then, of course, we're waiting for Mo. So once Mo comes back, Mo's going to be that instant fire starter. He's going to be that microwave guy, and he's definitely going to be the catalyst for the offense. We'll talk about Goga in another section. Lastly, the rookies. How much are the rookies going to play off our bench? Now, if Jalen is going to be out, then likely that means Tyus is going to start, and then we will then see if Jace is going to get some run early on in the season. That's if Jalen is going to be out injured. Now, for Noah, it's going to be a little bit different. I don't know where they're going to slot him in. Are they looking at him more as a 3 or is more as a 4? Obviously, the backup 4, it would be the one that seems the most likely, but he's a little undersized, but he's a thick boy. So maybe he'll be able to do some of the bumping in there, but he is a bit undersized if he's going to be the power forward. And his defense is going to be his calling card. So hopefully he's added a bit more offense. And from what we saw in the summer league, very good ball handling. His shooting will come, I think. So we don't know what we're going to get out of Jace and Noah, but we'll see what happens off that bench. The fourth key storyline for me is the center position. So as I mentioned, most of the articles are talking about our big 4 when it comes to our starting lineup with Jalen, Desmond, Franz, and Paolo. Now, the 5th spot, we're expecting that Wendell is going to be the one starting at center. Now, what does it take for him to hold down the center position on a team that's looking to make the NBA Finals? Is he the type of center that would be able to man the defense and be able to take the team to where they want to go? I think he can. I would rather start Goga, who's the other option when it came to who would start at center. Most of the advanced metrics have Goga slightly better on defense, slightly better with rebounding, slightly better on a lot of the different categories. Obviously, stats aren't everything. It all depends on feel and fit and all of these other things. So the coaching staff thinks that Wendell will fit better in the starting lineup. So we shall see. Hopefully, he's able to get his 3-point shot back to where it was a couple seasons ago, because just as everyone else, last season was a very down year for his 3-point shot. So hopefully, he's able to get that. And if he doesn't, Goga apparently now has a 3-point shot. If you watched him in Eurobasket, Goga was not only not afraid to shoot his shot, but he was actually hitting a lot of the 3-pointers that he was taking. So he was dictating the offense on his national team because his role is different there than it is on the Magic. But it's good to see. And with his defense, if his defense continues to be what it has always been, if you add more Eurobasket Goga offense to his game, then maybe Goga should be the one that starts at center. Now, is Goga the profile either for a starting center for a Eastern Conference champion? Maybe not, but I think his defense, his rebounding, and if he can continue to shoot threes at a high clip, then I think we should really give a hard, long look to Goga being the starting center. But what does that look like? I'm assuming these guys should score about 12 to 13 points a game, really, because of so much offense being predicated on the other 4. But they should be the ones there doing all the dirty work, making sure that they're getting the rebounds and the putbacks whenever there's a miss. They're doing the screening. They're doing all the stuff that these guys have always done. Just now they're going to have to do it at an elevated rate. And we've already seen Goga elevate his game in the Eurobasket. So we'll see what Wendell has this upcoming season. The 5th key storyline is how well the newcomers fit. So as I mentioned, Tyus is going to be the floor general for the second unit. He's going to be the primary ball handler, and hopefully he's able to bring his 3-point shot that he had last season into this season as well. He's going to be the one that will be able to be the driving force, be able to get easy baskets for Mo, be able to get easy baskets for AB, get easy baskets for Tristan. So that's going to be something that hopefully fits wonderfully. And if we go back to the second storyline, which how the offense is going to look, hopefully they're going to be incorporating some new offensive wrinkles so that we're able to get good switches when it comes to Tyus playing with Franz, let's say, at different points with the bench unit. Like, we'll see if now they're going to be able to create bigger mismatches because we have a smaller guy that's now going to be switched off onto Franz. So Franz might be able to do more of a back end as he worked on this past summer in Eurobasket. I would suspect that they're going to start picking Tyus's brain, and hopefully Tyus is going to be one that is very forthright and talking about how different offenses have worked on his other teams since he's been around the NBA a little bit. So hopefully he's going to bring that new vision to the team and be able to expand the horizons when it comes to the offense. Now, Desmond is our prize from this offseason. How Desmond fits is going to be probably the biggest key for the Orlando Magic offense this year. The main thing he's coming to do is to shoot. As we'll see when I release his player profile, his shooting is outstanding. The only thing that he doesn't shoot super well is from the corner, which is great because we got a lot of other guys that'll be able to shoot from the corner. So his secondary ball handling, his shooting are just going to be immense for this team, especially if we're going to have injuries. Then he'll be able to be the one to take on more ball handling as he did last year in Memphis. So that's going to be a big addition to this offense that hopefully is going to, again, bring us from the bottom 10 in the league to bring us at least to respectable. So it doesn't have to be top 10, but let's say top 12, top 11. That would be something that if we're that high on offense, then we're going to be winning, just because the foundation of our defense, that even if we play more up tempo and we play a bit faster, so we will give up more points. So we may not be a top 2 defense anymore, but we still could be a top 5 defense. And if we're a top 5 defense with a top 10 offense, then right there, we're definitely going to be a team that's going to be reckoned with and is going to win many, many, many games in this upcoming season. So Desmond being able to shoot is just going to free up so many things for Paolo and Franz. That's going to be why this is such a key storyline for us this upcoming season. And the sixth key storyline of this season for the Orlando Magic is, what does a leap for Paolo and or Franz look like? Paolo's already been an all-star. Now, Franz, if Franz just becomes an all-star and that's all, will that be considered a leap for him? Or will he need to be in the most improved player conversation, even though he averaged over 24 points a game last season? Like, what will it look like for Franz? What will it look like for Paolo? For Paolo, is it only if he makes an all NBA team, or even at least be in the conversation? Like, that's going to be the big key storyline for me, is what is that going to look like? And what does taking a leap mean for these guys? In my opinion, for Franz to be in the all NBA conversation, even if he doesn't make third team, it still would be impressive and still would be something that means that he had a great season if he were to be in the mix for all NBA. Hopefully his jump shot would come back to some monicum of normal from what it used to be. I mentioned in a few videos ago that I believe Franz's shot, the way it is now, looks much better than what it did at the end of last season. So that's already a positive. And for me, it's kind of like a golf swing. How many times have you seen PGA golfers go through a swing change, and they are obviously continuing to play through the discomfort and trying to get that muscle memory down? That's what I feel Franz is going through right now with his 3-point shot, that it's more him trying to get the muscle memory of continuing to be able to repeat the shot over and over and over again, because that's just going to be the only way that it's going to happen. So that's what I think when it comes to Franz. Him being in the all NBA conversation would be him taking a leap. If you look at a lot of the stats and the advanced metrics for forwards last year, Franz is very high on a lot of them. So he didn't play the 65 games for him to be eligible. So maybe that's why he wasn't even in the conversation. But if he would have gotten to 65 games, he should have been already in the conversation. So wow, that just shows that maybe he doesn't need that much more for him to have a leap for this upcoming season. Still, just being in those conversations really will help. That means that he's succeeding, and that means that Magic are succeeding. So I think that's going to be a very important thing for Franz. Now for Paolo, I think for me, the biggest thing when it comes to Paolo and what it would look like for him to take a leap will be definitely for him to make an all NBA team. That means it's going to get really expensive for the Magic, but hey, in the end, that's what we want. We want guys to continue to develop and get to a certain level that's going to raise the rest of the teams so that we can compete for championships. So for me, him taking the leap he's already getting that conversation started. A lot of people are talking about him for possibly being in the MVP discussion. So I have a video on that from earlier in the summer. I'm saying he's going to be in the top 3 in votes this year for the MVP. So I think that's going to, again, if he's that high in the MVP voting, then of course he'll be on an all NBA team. I think that's something to strive for. And that's something that will definitely look like a leap for him. Not only making an all NBA team, but also being in the conversation for MVP. Those are the 6 key storylines that I was able to come up with. I'm going to continue looking as I finish up the player profiles as well as watching the preseason just to see what other things pop up. And once we have some clarity on who that third two-way contract is going to be, you drop a comment below. Let me know what you think is a key storyline for the Orlando Magic this upcoming season that I didn't bring up. So you let me know. You got to do the normal YouTube things. So hit that like, share this video, drop a comment below on which storyline you think is going to be big this upcoming season. And if you're so inclined, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any content that I produce, as well as joining the Orlando Magic Nation community. I want to thank you very much for watching this video, and I hope you're having a great day.